Reactions trail Governor Adeleke's defection to Accord Party. And joining me on the program tonight to dissect matters arising from that defection and what it means for the party is Comrade Larry Ogundare, is a National Organizing Secretary, Accord Party. Comrade, thank you very much for joining us on the program. Your party has welcomed a new member and most of its supporters. Like I said, it must feel so good that, first, Governor Adeleke is an incumbent, second, a very popular name in Osun State, and may have saved the party the stress of starting from the scratch. So how does he feel?
Well, thank you very much for having me on the program. My name still remains Comrade Larry Ogundare, the National Organizing Secretary of Accord. Accord is a political party that has been formed over the years and have participated in several elections across board in Nigeria. So the very one that is of interest to the general populace is that of the Osun State gubernatorial election that is coming up next year. We all see and we all know for a fact that Governor Adeleke, Jackson Adeleke, joined the party through the window because most of the people that are rightly at the helms of affairs of the party were not carried along. He just decided to join the party through the fractional members of the party. That's the expelled members of the party. That is Barrister Maxwell Ngudem led executive was here in Osogbo to welcome Adeleke, because Ngudem that welcomed Adeleke is not even a member of the party any longer. So I don't see how a reasonable candidate will join forces with an expelled member of the party to form an alliance and show what they displayed 3 days ago, which we in Accord mainstream tag as a show of shame, perhaps to say, because one, a person of Governor Adeleke, we expected him to have his handlers ought to have done their due diligence in trying to know what and how the affairs of Accord Party is going presently in Nigeria. You cannot be talking of joining Accord at that level without the involvement of the likes of Mabudada Kakware, who have served under the platform of the party for in Lagos, Mushi Federal Constituency 1. We have several candidates. During the last general election, we have Honorable Akim Ologun-Dixon that contested in Lagos State as gubernatorial candidate. And we also have Professor Christopher Mbole, who was the presidential candidate of the party in the last election and now doubles as national chairman of the party. You need people of proven character that ought to have joined forces with Adeleke if truly Adeleke is serious about the election, because the gubernatorial election is not just a child's play; it's a serious business.
But looks like the party suddenly came alive after Governor Adeleke joined Accord Party. As a matter of fact, there are some Nigerians still questioning, the reason behind choosing a party that has remained inactive for years. But we'll come back to that in a moment. Comrade, many Nigerians are confused about, the legal tussle currently rocking your party. At the heart of it, who exactly is recognized by law as the authentic national leadership of the party?
By the virtue of the court order that was granted to Professor Christopher Mbole, dated 30th of 8th, 2024, it is an order that explicitly explains who is at the heads of affairs. These are the documents before me here. These are the documents. These are the documents. It's an order of the Honorable Judge that recognizes the Professor Christopher Mbole's national leadership of Accord. But the problem we are having is that, INEC as an umpire refused to, refuse to comply or deliberately ignore or push aside the order of the court on the Accord issue, leadership issue, because this thing has been settled long ago. There was a convention conducted in Accord, leadership emerged. Some people went to a mini room, wrote names, sent it to Accord, all because they have influence in Accord, because They have formed part and parcel of IPAC. So they are using that as a bait to bury the justice that ought to have prevailed in the system.
All right. So what you've established tonight is that Governor Adeleke joined the faction led by Barrister Maxwell Ndube, a group considered by some as recognized by INEC. But you've said that group is legally inferior to the court-backed leadership of Professor Imulunu. But if the Accord Party is now heavily divided, comrade, with factions operating almost like independent political groups, how safe is it for Governor Adeleke, who dumps the PDP because of this same leadership crisis with no end in sight? Meanwhile, the party considers a safe haven has been deeply divided for months. Another question I would like to ask you is, what legal or constitutional basis do you insist that you remain a member of first, before that, what is the real cause? Kindly hold on, what's the real cause behind this crisis?
Well, the only problem I think that is affecting Accord is when some clique deliberately wanted to continue to hold on to the grip of the power of the party. Barrister Maxwell has been in the party for over. He has been a National Working Committee member for over decades, and through the back door. Just today, we are still in court. He is in Federal High Court proceedings in Abuja. We are in court today in this same subject matter before Justice Lima of Federal High Court level in Abuja. So, from the look of things, we are prominent people with proven integrity. We have won election. We know what it takes to win an election, and we know what we have actually committed into the system. We know we have actually committed into the party. We have labored for the party. We cannot allow riffraff to just come from nowhere and hijack the structure of the party. Please
be mindful of your words, comrade. Please be mindful of your words. But I asked you that question because in October 2024, the FCT High Court ruled that Chris Imumulen is the authentic national chairman. But despite this ruling, INEC was yet to fully implement the court order, which allowed both factions to operate simultaneously. And in November, which is the following month, yourself, Professor Imumulen, and 6 others were suspended by the neck of the party for gross misconduct, anti-party activities, and breaches of the party's constitution. But before you defend yourself, let's take this break, and I'll be right back. But it's also important to say that when we return from this break, this conversation continues on our other platforms. Please stay with us, everyone. Thank you for staying with us, everyone. Tonight we have Comrade Lanre Ogundare, National Organizing Secretary, Accord Party. Tonight we're focused on the reactions trailing Governor Adeleke's defection to Accord Party. Comrade, thank you very much for staying with us on the program. So I reminded you about the court processes that occurred last year, precisely October 2024, when the FCT High Court ruled that Professor Chris is the authentic national chairman. But despite this ruling, INEC was yet to fully implement the court orders, which allowed both factions to operate at the same time. But in November, which was the following month, you and 7 others were suspended by the neck of your party for gross misconduct, anti-party activities, and breaches of the party's constitution. How do you defend yourself? What exactly happened?
Well, a quick response to what the person just there's a popular saying that you cannot give what you don't have. One, the constitution of the party is very clear on how to suspend or expel a member of the party. Any such grievances, complaints must come from the ward level. Have they done that? No. Do they have the structures to the structure and the support from my ward and from Ward 10, Alimosho, Lagos? My ward chairman, we still have meetings. LGA chairman, we are together. So I see no reason why some group of people will just sit in Abuja and start issuing press statements of suspension, expulsion, and the rest. So those are things that cannot even withstand the test of time. So I categorically put that as a show of shame, because there is no way you can give what you don't have. They don't have the power and the legitimate right to expel.
So are you claiming, Comrade, kindly hold on, are you claiming that the organ that expelled you lacked the authority, or that the decision was never ratified? Which one exactly?
Well, it was not ratified because I was never suspended and still a card-carrying member of ACORD, and I will remain in ACORD because I've been in the party as far back as 2008. You know what that means? I have labored, I have witnessed both storm, raining, and other hardship of the party. Now is the time for ACORD to shine, and we are still in ACORD. I will continue to be in ACORD.
I mean, ACORD must shine, definitely, but I mean, this party is not even, one of the leading political parties in Nigeria, but the party has always been, embroiled in one leadership crisis or another. And I mean, interestingly, you're always in one of these brouhaha. 2017, as far back as 2017, the Lagos State chapter of the same party recommended the indefinite suspension of the then chairman, Benga Kul, and you as secretary. That allegation was that you all stole and mismanaged party funds generated from sales of nomination forms in the July council election. I mean, I can't remember how that case ended, but I just needed to remind you of how disunited the party had always been. Why do you think you're consistently associated with this crisis?
Well, going back to 2017, you make me remember the best outing of ACORD, Lagos, when I was serving as the state secretary of the party. Chief Benga of blessed memory was my chairman then. It was that period that we produced Honorable Dauda Kakware that served in Mushifara Constituency 1. He emerged during the 2015 general election in Lagos State. After that, 2017, we had local government election. You can check the profile there, you can check the records there. That was the first time in the political history of Lagos State and the political history of ACORD for us to have won 3 councillorship from the ballot, and we won 2 from the tribunal. So if they are claiming that that same election, that same process was blocked by irregularities or embezzlement, I think they need to go back to their senses and get to know what is wrong with them. Because then we sold councillorship form for 10,000 naira. And we sold chairmanship form for 20,000 naira. You know how meager that is? And we still find a way to get their names registered in last year and the rest. So all what they have been picturing, capturing, are just way to assassinate my character. Because I have delivered, I have won elections for the party. I have won election for the party, not a insane election. We are in election in 2015, we are in election in 2017, local government election. It was that same election that they have been clamoring that mismanagement of funds. Where are the funds coming from? Who paid the form? Who paid the money? Let people come out, because he that alleged must prove. Let them come out and prove it.
And who are those trying to assassinate your character?
Come again?
Who are those trying to assassinate your character? You just alleged that there are some persons trying to assassinate your character. Who are they?
Those are the people that do not want the party to grow. Those are the money bags. You saw how they came out in numbers to come and collect money from the governor of Osun State. We were not there. We had everything that transpired. People are complaining. Most of the chairmen are complaining.
And I'm just here wondering why ACORD party still allowed parallel operations under both factions. What internal mechanisms have been taken to comply with the court ruling? Is the party deliberately resisting the court's decision, or is this due to administrative delays?
Please kindly come again. The network is breaking. Please kindly come again.
All right. Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Right. So while you were speaking, I was just here, wondering why ACORD party still allowed parallel operations under both factions. So I was asking you about the internal mechanisms that must have been taken or should have been taken to comply with the court ruling. I was asking if the party has deliberately resisted the court's decision, or is this due to some administrative delays?
The court process or what? I can't hear you, please. The network is cracking me. I need to get that question right.
I mean, earlier you said the current leadership or the factionalized leadership of the party has not respected court ruling. I was asking why Accord Party on both sides have allowed parallel operations under both factions. Are there internal mechanisms within the party that should have been taken to comply with the court ruling? I was asking, is the party deliberately resisting the court's decision? Did you get that?
Yeah, I can get that question now. You know, we have two different people with different political mindsets. We, on our own part, we are willing and working tirelessly to make the party grow. While on the other side, they are up to something else. Take, for example, what happened in Oyo State as a case study during the last election. We have a governorship candidate in person of Adelabu,
Comrade, can you hear me? All right, tonight I've been speaking with Comrade Larry Ogundare, who is the National Organizing Secretary Accord Party. We've been dissecting reactions trailing Governor Adeleke's defection to Accord Party. Comrade, can you hear me? All right, let's take a break, everyone, and I'll be right back. Thank you very much for staying with us on the program. Osun State Governor Bala Adeleke joined the Accord Party on Tuesday after weeks of speculations about his political destination following the prolonged crisis in the PDP. Tonight, I've been speaking with Comrade Larry Ogundare, who is the National Organizing Secretary of Accord Party. And according to him, it looks like the governor is on the wrong path and is not taking the right step to join in the party. This is the conversation we're having tonight. Comrade, thank you very much for staying with us on the program. So we've seen multiple court cases rather, filed by different blocks within your party. Why has conflict resolution failed? Does the party even have a conflict resolution mechanism to the point where virtually every disagreement now ends up in courts?
Yes, I can hear you now.
All right. So did you get that question? I was asking why we've seen multiple court cases filed by different blocks within your party. Why has conflict resolution failed internally to the point where virtually every disagreement now ends up in courts? It's a huge challenge having this conversation tonight. Comrade, I hope you can hear me. All right, let's take some stories while we fix that connectivity issue. Governor of Rivers State, Sin Fubara, has formalized his defection from the People's Democratic Party to the All Progressives Congress. He received his membership card after completing his registration as a member of the APC. Details in this report.
The state APC chairman, Tony Okocha, along with other executive committee members, conducted the registration at the government house. The Minister of Aviation, Festus Keyamo, who was in the state for another official engagement, also witnessed the process. Governor Fubara once again took the chance to defend his decision, describing it as an important move to ensure political stability, unity and accelerated development in Rivers State.
When I took this decision, it was for the safety, protection, progress, development of our dear state. We can't be doing our own here, and we'll be going on a different course with the federal government, the ruling party.
I want to say to you that we welcome you with our whole heart and assure you, with all due respect, that we will be at your beck and call.
Governor Fubara's defection is also being interpreted as a political strategy to strengthen his relationship with the presidency, thereby boosting the APC's prospect in the 2027 general elections.
I took this decision as my own return favor, my own clearing the bush to ensure that his re-election come 2027 would be easy, smooth in this state. We have always supported him, but maybe from different flats. We are now inside one flat.
Within the last decade, the APC has suffered multiple electoral setbacks in Rivers State, particularly the governorship election. But Governor Fubara has assured that with his entry into the party, the state will become an APC stronghold.
The Adeleke Petroleum refinery has reduced its petrol price from 828 naira to 699 naira per litre. The new price, which took effect on the 11th of December, marks the 20th petrol price adjustment announced by the refinery this year. The price reduction follows last week's meeting between refinery chairman Aliko Dangote and President Bala where he reaffirmed his commitment to maintaining competitive domestic fuel prices despite global market volatility. The company explained that this pricing adjustment demonstrates their commitment to make the season memorable for citizens and reduce cost pressures on road transport operators. The family of late University of Jos student Rinji Bala has welcomed the verdict that sentenced the police sergeant to death 5 years after the young man was killed. The Plateau State Judiciary delivered the judgments this week, bringing a long and emotional legal battle to a close. TVC News senior reporter Phnom Joshua reports from Jos.
It was on May 12th, at the height of the COVID-19 lockdown, that 300-level University of Jos student Rinji Bala lost his life. Rinji and 2 friends were arrested for moving during curfew hours. They were searched, beaten, and eventually told to run. But as they fled, a police sergeant rear outer fired a fatal shot into Rinji's back, an act the court has now ruled was intentional and unlawful. In a landmark judgment, the Plateau State High Court, presided over by Chief Judge Justice David Mann, found Sergeant Outer guilty of culpable homicide and sentenced him to death either by hanging or lethal injection. At the office of the prosecuting counsel, Garba Pool, he explained that despite the convict's claim that the shooting was accidental, forensic and medical evidence proved otherwise.
First of all, to the family of the victim, it is important to note that even the death by hanging or lethal injection served on the person who committed the offense is not sufficient compensation because it does not bring back the life of the person who is gone. But that is the highest that human society can do.
When TVC News visited the Bala family home, Rinji's father reflected on the 5-year wait for justice, a period he described as emotionally draining. He welcomed the judgment, but urged the judiciary to speed up cases involving grieving families.
Because of the nature of our legal system in Nigeria. But we also at some point believe that if we allow things to just slide like that, it will keep reoccurring. And so we felt there was need for the law to take its course. There is no period when crime is right. No matter how long it takes, definitely justice will come someday. So even though it has taken quite a number of years, but at least the law has spoken.
The family later led our crew to Rinji's gravesite, where the pain of his loss remains fresh.
5 years on, the family of Rinji Bala finally sees justice, reminding all officers to uphold professionalism. Phnom Joshua, TVC News, Jos.
Sadly, technology failed us tonight. We could not continue that conversation with the National Organizing Secretary of Accord Party, Comrade Larry. Ogundare, who had alleged that Governor Adeleke's entry into a court party is a backroom move and invalid. But hopefully we have that conversation some other time, and hopefully this matter is resolved. Thank you very much for joining us on the program tonight. That marks the end of our episode tonight. But before we go, let's tell you that the views and reactions of our resource persons are theirs and have no connection with TVC News. You can also watch the repeat broadcast of this episode at 12:30 a.m. Get in touch with us on our social media handles, Facebook, Instagram, and X at TVC News NG and at Olajumoke using the hashtag Politics Tonight. We're also on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News NG. I am Olajumoke Olatiji. Please have a great weekend.